just making some breakfast wraps for lunch out here. And I see that Ashley didn't want to take no break. There she is with Henry carrying a tree that we needed to get rid of along the driveway there. She's a trooper. Dang, that's a lot of sandhill cranes. They sound cool. Anyway, I was just sitting here in the truck when Ashley, she's sitting on the deck over there. She was like, "Hey, look, Josh, a lot of sandhill cranes." Dang, that looks so cool. So I look up and I'm like, you know what? If you guys can see that in the camera, I thought that would be cool to show you. Man, there's so many of them. But anyway, I'm looking for some footage of when we took the plastic off the run here. Maybe 3 weeks ago or so. Probably about that. We couldn't take off the back piece of plastic because it was stuck in the ice, but all the rest we took off. But it looks like I lost that footage, unfortunately. Kind of sucks because I wanted to demonstrate our unstable spring weather, if you will. After we took off the plastic, we had a blizzard. Yeah, so this is why we don't plant this early in the spring, because today is April 19th, I think. And we got, well, I don't know how much snow this is, about 7-8 inches of snow overnight. So would have killed all of our stuff. Hey, what's the date today? Oh, it's the 20th. April 20th.
Oh, lovely.
It is nice.
You're just having a blast.
Yeah. So yesterday, this was all grass-ish, if you could call it grass.
Weeds?
Weeds, yeah. And today, we got ourselves... Oh, no, I wouldn't go.
He's been just like walking around it, and like thinking, should I step on it? He'll end up just swimming if he does go in.
Yeah, he's gonna get cold though. Those ducks over there.
Yeah.
We also have 2 pairs of Canada goose on the pond this year.
I don't see them right now.
Yeah, I don't see them right now either. Right over there is the sunken boat. You can just make out a little piece of it right there. Pond is really low because we didn't get no rain last year,
It's a lot
but
higher than it was
last
year, though.
yeah, last summer was probably to about maybe right here, and now with all the snow melt and stuff, it's filling up again. Hopefully, it comes back to like it comes down.
Don't do it! Don't do it!
Oh, is he gonna go in? Oh!
Oh. That's so cold.
Yeah, he's like, never mind. You want a stick or something?
Yeah, probably. The ducks were making noises, and he was really curious about what they were doing over there.
Okay. Anyways, as I was saying, the pond usually comes right up to these trees here, and right where I'm standing in as well. And then goes all the way around. And then these trees here, they hang over like that into the water. Not a huge pond, and not even a pond. This is more of a runoff pond, or a slough, or a swamp. You could even classify it as, I imagine. But it's what we got, so we'll take it. What are you doing over there, Henry?
It's like he's trying to figure out how to jump onto the
Yeah.
snowy bits.
Anyway, guys,
The point is that the weather is pretty up and down around this time of year. 10 days later, we just have a little bit of snow left down here at the pond. So even though unfortunately I 138'd all that footage, you still kind of get the idea. It went from having basically no snow, we're like, oh, I guess we can take the cover off of the chicken run, to then having a blizzard. And actually, it snowed a couple times in the last 10 days as well. Today is April 30th, last day of April. And we're hoping that it's not going to snow again, although it could. You know, sometimes it does late into spring. But we are going to operate as though it hasn't. And part of that operation is we can take the rest of this plastic off because there's no more ice encasing it, holding it onto the ground. Oh, maybe there is. Let's see here. Nope. Not quite. There is ice, but it wasn't holding it. We'll hold this plastic up. It's probably good for at least one more year. And since we're not going to be shoveling off the run, we don't need this up there anymore either. Like that. Dry. It's a little long to do by oneself, but I'm just looking at it, seeing if there's any major tears or anything in there. It looks like it's good, so it should be good for at least one more year. So we'll fold it up and put it in there. There we go. So while it was snowing, obviously we couldn't do much outside, so I was doing projects in the shop, and I made another rooster. I want to see what the girls think of them. So far they've had no reaction to one of the metal roosters I've made, but maybe this time they will. There we go. They all run away. They're like, nah. Maybe if I got out and waited a little bit. There we go. I put some sunflower seeds down so they'd come out, but they're completely ignoring my little rooster. Well, actually, he's the biggest rooster I've made to date, but my fake rooster is a decoy. I kind of feel like it's similar to how these don't work. The animals just know that they don't do anything. They're not real, so they ignore them. We move them around, and you know, the hawks and stuff still come around, but who knows? Probably still doing something wrong. These girls don't care about him at all. Of course, they could just be more interested in the sunflower seeds. Who knows? Sorry, pal. Being alive will get you more ladies than being made out of scrap metal. Well, anyway, unfortunately, it looks like it might rain. I mean, it was cloudy earlier, but now it's like straight up overcasty. And we were hoping to get rid of this pile here, or not necessarily that pile, but make a place for future composting. Oh, I just felt a raindrop on my cheek. Oh, it's raining. Well, at the very least we can do some planning. Look out there, ladies. Okay, so we're going to make a compost bin here somewhere in this area, and I think we're going to do the 3-bin method somewhere right here, maybe 12 feet long or so, I think. So 4 feet per. I just need a tape measure. Maybe something like this. So 4 foot, second 4 foot, and then the last 4 foot to here. And then maybe 4 feet this way. I'm not sure how big we need to make it, but we'll start with that. So we have this pile of scrap wood in the field. It must have been like some sort of building at one point, but it's in a big heap. Looked like it was piled to become a burn pile. We were trying to think of ways that we could reclaim it, and I think it'll be perfect for use in this project here. All right, now if that's not enough, I'll come grab some more. Okay, so all of these are shorties, and I'm thinking for some structural stability, I have a 14-foot 2x12 here that I can rip in half, and that will help with the design that's in my head. Now the thing that sucks, I want to rip this down on the table saw, but I'm not sure I'm going to be able to because this is so long. I'll have to open that door, which is fine, that's easy. But it's also too long that way. It's touching that wall or that door as well. So I'm going to see if I can't open both of them and it'll work still. Wait! Jakota and we just realized that we can cut 2 feet off of this because we only need 12 feet of it. But I'm curious, is this gonna work? We're gonna cut it as one whole length just to see if we can do it. Why not? Wouldn't you do it? I mean, we got the time. We got the time. So we'll open the art trunk like so. Hopefully it doesn't hit the doorknob. We'll open up that door there. Let's see if she works. Yes! Yes! That's awesome. Okay, so those of you who followed for a while know that we used to have the table saw here feeding that way, but it didn't allow for very long material. Really only about 10 feet at the most. It was just comfortable enough to have an 8-foot sheet be pushed through. Well, we moved it this way so that we could feed in longer stuff. And I remember we took into account that we might have to cut, much longer stuff than the room allows. So we made it so that this door and this door could be utilized as our feed and outfeed. However, I don't think we tested it with a 2x12 material. It's the widest, typically widest stuff that you can get from your regular lumber yard. But look at this. This is how close it was. And it's just above the doorknob. It's as if we planned it. So that's kind of awesome that it worked out that way. And if it didn't, we would have had to cut it down. But now we know we can cut 14-foot and longer material. I think you can get up to like 24-foot material at your lumber yard. And since they're 14, we may as well make it a 14-foot bin. Why not? I figure up to a reasonable point, the bigger the better, because we're gonna have a lot to compost. As for height, I think we're gonna go to about 30 inches. I think that's probably a good height.
You can run on for a long time, run on for a long time, run on for a long time. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down. Go and tell that long-tongued liar, go and tell that midnight rider, tell the rambler, the gambler, the backbiter, tell him that God cut him down. Tell him that God cut him down. Well, my goodness gracious, let me tell you the news. My head's been wet with the midnight dew. I've been down on bended knee, talking to the man from Galilee. He spoke to me in a voice so sweet, I thought I heard the shuffle of angels' feet. He called my name and my heart stood still. He said, John, go and do my will. Go and tell that long-tongued liar, go and tell that midnight rider, tell the rambler, the gambler, the backbiter, tell him that God cut him down. Tell him that God cut him down. You can run on for a long time, run on for a long time, run on for a long time. Sooner or later, God cut you down. Sooner or later, God cut you down. You may throw your rock, hide your hand, working in the dark against your fellow man. Sure as God made a black and white, what's done in the dark will be brought to the light. You can run on for a long time, run on for a long time, run on for a long time. Sooner or later, God will cut you down. Sooner or later, God will cut you down. Go and tell that long-tongued liar, go and tell that midnight rider, tell the rambler, the gambler, the backbiter, tell him that God cut him down. Tell him that God cut him down.
Well, that was dramatic and very unexpected. Yeah, so I had meant for this video to come out maybe on May 1st or 2nd, depending on how quickly I could edit it. It was supposed to just be a compost bin. Hey, we're doing compost this way now sort of video. But it has turned into something else because I had a little neurological event, if you will. And today's kind of the first day that I feel well enough to conclude this video. And I know a lot of people on social media and via my email have been asking where the heck I am, what's going on. So this is it. As you could see, I had to go to the hospital. I didn't know what happened, but if you saw, I was moving this around. Actually, I was moving it over to that side, but in the end, I didn't really like the way it looked over there because it was like all slanted, and I would have had to prop it up and whatever. So it's over here. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So the point is I was lifting it, and as I lifted it a little less than a foot one last time, something like happened in my head where I felt this very intense pounding stabby pain that was, I can't even really describe it. It was terrible. It was a very bad headache, for lack of a better word, I guess. Basically, as I lifted, I got this full head squeezy, stabby, twisty, like someone took 2 turkey basters. Nah, that's not sharp. Maybe ice picks or knives or something. That's not even, whatever it was very bad. I could feel it like behind my teeth. It was so weird, and I didn't know what to do because there was no soothing it no matter what I did. Like, I've broken my shoulder. You hold it, hurts less. Hold my head, hurts the same. It was terrible. So Ashley, who's laughing at me right now, she's a nurse. She was like, you know what, maybe it could be a stroke, maybe it could be, you know, a bunch of different things. So she took my blood pressure, did all these things. Then we went to the hospital just to be safe. The triage nurse, she also thought a stroke could be a possibility. She did like a test, whatever. Something was going on, so I got in right away. The first doctor, he thought it was a stroke. So he did, he hit my knees with the little hammer, actually a stethoscope. Different doctor used a hammer. Imagine they used actual hammers. They just pull out a freaking 15 ounce. He hit me with a little stethoscope. He did like the whole stroke test, as did Ashley and the triage nurse. Like, I don't know if it's the same everywhere, but they kind of like get you to smile, get you to look at lights and turn your eyes and lift both your arms and squeeze and all these different things. Check your reflexes. Luckily, I was not having a stroke. I thought that would be kind of weird. I'm a little young for a stroke, but it does happen. Since I wasn't having a stroke, he was like, dude, the doctor was like, maybe you're having
subarachnoid hemorrhage.
That? What?
Subarachnoid hemorrhage.
Subarachnoid?
Subarachnoid.
Okay, whatever that is. What is that?
Like a bleed in your brain.
A bleed in the brain, okay. So I got a CT scan? Mm-hmm. CT scan, which revealed that that was not, there was nothing. According to the scan, it looked normal. So then they did a spinal tap, which feels very weird, by the way. They get you to like hunch over and it like separates your spine. I didn't film this because I didn't want squeamish people to be like, oh, needles and in spines and stuff, because it's a pretty big needle. And yeah, so I didn't film that. I did take a picture of my spinal fluid. Super clear.
Crystal clear.
Yeah, it's like glacier water. Fun fact, this is the same room that I was in when my face blew up from the wasp thing. Gene, the used car salesman, was also in this room. The visual assessment of that was normal. It wasn't cloudy or yellow or pink or red or anything like that. So they ruled out meningitis and some other stuff. But they sent it off to the lab. I had to stay overnight for pain management and just test results. So the next afternoon, I feel a lot better, and they tell me that my results, I have a little anomaly in my spinal fluid, and then they'll have more information for me later. But then the theories for what is going on in my head with they call it a high pressure headache, could be caused from a brain tumor, aneurysm, or it could just be a tension headache. Tension headache can be caused from lifting things. People who are into bodybuilding or CrossFit sometimes exhibit the same symptoms when they lift really heavy and overexert themselves. And it could have been that I did that. I didn't think this was that heavy. I thought I was managing pretty well, but it is pretty heavy. It's about 200-ish pounds, but I was only lifting one end and I had help for most of it. So basically that's all I could tell them, because that's all I knew so far. So everything was a theory. But anyway, I'm allowed to go home, and unfortunately for me, I'm one of the lucky people who gets low pressure headaches from lumbar punctures, spinal taps, epidurals, all that type of thing. Sometimes people will get a low pressure headache, which is caused from your spinal fluid leaking out of your spinal cord. So if you can imagine a water balloon with a hole poked in it, when you squeeze it, it sprays out really fast. But if you let it be, it leaks out very slowly. Well, when I stand up, there's a lot of pressure because gravity. It's spraying out the bottom of my back, and not that you can't see it, but like it's inside your body. And that takes the fluid out of your cranium. Is that the right word to use? Sounds smart. And your brain then rests on your skull rather than on the nice cushy spinal fluid. And it causes pain. And then that was making me very hated it. When I laid down though, it was fine. Water balloon was leaking very slowly. So I was on bed rest this whole time, but we were also trying to finish up the April sale. So when I could, I would get up, I would sign and number and get stuff ready for the post office. When we had a decent amount, I went and picked up all of the prints, plus all the prints that we had picked up, to move them. And that gave me another high pressure headache on top of my low pressure headache. And I had to go back to the hospital, which was recommended. I'm not sure what he's barking at there, but it was recommended by the doc. This could be super serious, so you got to come when this happens again. Happened a few times, and basically gave me pain management. They did their assessments, did whatever. Then I was sent home where I could rest up, and then eventually I went to see the neurologist because my results on my spinal fluid anomaly was in. I have what was it again? Elevated protein, and that could mean several different things. He had a long list, and I was like, all those things sound awful. Thanks. But we'll know more coming up. I actually have another appointment tomorrow and then I have another appointment for an
Angiogram.
angiogram and possibly an MRI and some other stuff until we figure it out, basically. So yeah, kind of crazy. I am now over the low pressure headaches because it's healed up. They were going to do a blood patch, but they didn't because I had already been like 10 days with them, and they're like, it's probably almost healed up. Luckily, they didn't do it because they put in an even bigger needle to do the blood patch, which is basically like a Band-Aid made out of your blood cells, right? Just trying to heal up your spinal cord so that nothing leaks out anymore. But that takes some time. So I'm glad they didn't do that because that was awful. Not as bad as the high pressure, but do not want that again. So now I just have the high pressure headaches. Today I'm fine. Luckily, actually I feel great today, minus the dull headache that's there. So I feel it here, shallow headband to here, a little bit on the top and a little bit on the back, but it's really mild. It feels like a dehydration headache, but it could flare up if I exert myself, and then I would have to go back to the hospital like I have already several times. At their request, they told me like you should come back because they're learning a little bit more each time I go back. I'm a bit of an anomaly because I don't know, I'm a little different. If it's a brain tumor, it's weird that it doesn't show up on the CT scan, right? Yeah. If it's a aneurysm, it's behaving a little differently. I can't remember exactly what they said. If it's a tension headache, it's lasting longer than is typical. I don't know. I guess we'll figure it out. Hopefully. I got a few more tests to do, and I guess until we figure it out, though, I don't know. We'll do some more stuff. It could be that it's lucky that it happened now. Lifting this, the exertion may have like showed something. Like it's a warning. It could have been deadly later, but now it's just very painful, and it's, but we don't know for sure yet, but hopefully we will know soon. Maybe this is my lucky compost bin. It could have saved my life. And by the way, thank you to Rob and Armando for moving it over here.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. It's up. Easy.
Dude, relax there. Don't have an aneurysm.
I'm not. I've been up this bullet before. I haven't got my feet underneath it yet.
As you can see, we used all reclaimed wood here. These are the 214s. And I'm glad we had that piece, because without the divisions on the top and bottom of these pieces, the whole structure will remain a lot more rigid. Obviously, it's a different color because it's weathered in the sun, and these are freshly planed, so they're yellow with the odd sprinkle of red in there. But that's okay. We may paint the outside, or maybe we'll just let it all weather in the sun, and then it will all be gray. And then all this wood came from that pile over there. Same with the 4x4s. These braces will come off. Those were just put on there to move it so it would stay rigid. But basically, how this system works, so Ashley already put some in here. That's last year's corn stalks and some straw, and there's a banana peel. We were thinking about this method of compost for a while. Some people that we know also use this method, the 3-bin. How does it work exactly?
So from what I understand, you have one bin that you're adding to for next year.
Okay, so say like maybe this one or that one?
I would do the one on the end.
Okay.
And then with this one, that's going to be like our active compost. We rotate it between the middle and the outside every week so that it turns.
Okay, so one stays empty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so this way it gets turned and it gets oxygen, and you also water it.
Okay.
And then it will break down eventually. That's what I understand, at least.
Okay, yeah.
I might have it wrong.
So we had thought about this bin because it
it looks nice enough. It's not a plastic bin or whatever. It's just wood.
We needed it to be big.
Yeah, we also needed it to be big because we have a lot of organic waste, if you will. And then we have this book here.
Oh yeah.
Who
From
sent?
Patricia.
Patricia sent us this.
Thank you so much.
And in this book, there's this same bin, minus the gates. I didn't get to the gates because
3-bin Bertha, big and beautiful.
three bin Bertha. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, read up on this in here, and it confirmed that indeed that's the kind of bin we're going to use. And eventually we'll take the braces off here. We'll probably add some gates at some point. That's really dependent on if Henry gets into it. As you can see, he likes exploring and looking for things to eat. Sometimes it can be toxic to your pets to have compost that they eat and stuff, although we have this pile over here, which he doesn't really bother. Reason why we're not putting this pile in there is because we were going to clean up this area here. This is just some stuff that kind of came with the property and other stuff, moving it around and whatnot. But we were going to put another garden bed here and another one over here, if you can imagine a bed on either side of what's going to be the greenhouse. But we're probably not going to do that now, at least until we figure out what's up with my noggin. It's nuts. Remember, guys, lift with your legs, not your brain. Because it can mess you up. So what we were going to do with those two garden beds there is we were going to mix this compost pile in there. Most of it is old, some of it is decently new, but we thought maybe with the bigger amount of old stuff with the small amount of new stuff, that it might be fine. The problem is that there's just a lot of chicken droppings in here, which doesn't really neutralize for up to a year. Opinions obviously vary on that, but we thought if we mix it all together, it might be fine to put in two beds with the ground soil, which we were just going to plant sunflowers in for the first year, just to see how the soil was and stuff, because we weren't going to buy soil like we did last year for I think both of these beds here.
Yeah. And that one.
Oh yeah, and that one. Yeah. So yeah, things are going to be a little bit different on our channel now, because I'm not going to be able to do much. I'm on like super light duty, because even some of the smallest exertion just thunderclaps my head. It's not fun. It is some of the worst pain I've ever felt, and you can't do anything about it. And it really sucks, because there's a lot of things that I've already missed out on. Actually, I can show you. So Ashley's parents, they want a strawberry patch beside their raspberry patch at their place, so they needed to cut some grass out, and I wasn't able to help out with that because I wasn't feeling well. I was basically just in bed. But all that grass that they cut out, Ashley and her brother put in our coop run the other day. Oh wow, that looks great. What the heck? This looks like hey, Ginger just squatting down. Squatting down. This looks awesome. I like this. Is like it reminds me of daycare for some reason.
Daycare. Yeah.
It's not going to last forever, because you know they peck it, but this is better than what it was before. And as you can see, I took out the metal chicken, or I didn't take it out, but Ashley took it out. But they never reacted to it once. He was put back in the shop, and the bummer is that he's probably the last sculpture I'll do for a while, at least until they figure out what is wrong with my head, whether I need surgery or not, or if there's some other way to help, whatever it is. I guess first of all they have to figure out for sure what it is. That kind of sucks because that rooster is the last. That's a good one at least. He's just chilling in the shop. I have to just do some wire brushing on it and then it can go out to its new home, which happens to be local actually. I was just about to do a transition shot, guys, into the shop to show you the rooster one last time. And look what Henry has. He just found this spinal column and I guess pelvis of a sheep, probably. Could be a goat. Found it in the forest a few days ago, I guess. You little savage.
You're not burying that in the flower bed. What do you think you're doing?
Oh, that's funny. Good boy. Good boy. Oh, we also got some more sod here, which needs to be pressed down, and some over here. But we got to do some landscaping at some point anyway, but it's nice to have that rather than dirt, because now the cats can't go to the bathroom there anymore so easily. Okay. There he is. Probably my favorite rooster to date that I've made. He's got some tees for a wattle, a saw blade comb, big nut for his head, small nuts for his eyes. Got some cutlery in here. I'm pretty sure that these two pieces are some sort of harrows. I actually used another type of harrows for his beak. This here is from a lamp. I really like adding pops of color to the rooster, so I have some red and some green here. These are some sort of farming machinery pieces. On top of adding pops of color, for some reason I also really like adding wood to the roosters. So this is an old-fashioned soldering iron handle, and I really like the cracks in there. Got another one down here. This is actually a file, some saw blades, some all-thread springs. We got some railroad spikes, hinges, rebar, bolts. This thing is pretty cool. He's as big as a real-life Brahma rooster. I wanted to make a big one this time. He doesn't really look like a Brahma, but that's okay. He's an Ushitat rooster. Just gotta clean him up a little bit here. Get rid of some of that straw. Maybe give him a wire brushing here. Spray him up with some clear coat and he'll be nice and spiffy and ready to go to his new owners. Really sucks that he's my last ride on the welding bench for a while. Also not going to be able to do much in terms of woodworking. Definitely no construction, which sucks because I have so much to do. It's weird. I have some ideas for future content, but it's definitely going to be different. But I'll still make videos if I can. Thank you to everyone who sent their notes of concern. I got a lot of them. Sorry I didn't let everyone know sooner. I just didn't know what to say because I didn't know. And I guess technically I still don't know. But now you know what I know. Leading theory is it's probably an aneurysm. That's all I know. Could be a tumor too. That will suck as well. It could just be a tension headache. I'm sure that the comment section of this video is going to be filled with your own theories and advice, which I appreciate. But I think what I'll do is I'll probably do a live video update at some point when I know more. I got a really good neurologist, or so I'm told. I don't know any other neurologists, but apparently he's really good. And I got some good doctors, and we'll figure it out. And then I'll let you know. I'll keep you updated. This is weird for me because I thought it was stupid to go to the hospital for a headache, but I felt like it was, I'm like, this is not a normal headache. And when I get there, they're like, yeah, no, that's not normal. We got to figure this out. Let's hope that if it is an aneurysm, which it probably is, that it doesn't rupture, because obviously that would be the main concern, because that can be deadly. Right now, at least in theory, when I exert myself in whatever manner, the aneurysm like kind of flares up into this balloon, and that causes the pressure buildup and the extreme discomfort. We don't want it to get worse than that. Well, I got my first couple ambulance rides out of it, so there's that. I guess if I want to put a silver lining around this cloud, I got a story out of it. I actually didn't know that you could walk around with an aneurysm. I knew someone who got an embolism, and I know that they're not the same thing, and maybe not everyone dies from an embolism, but I thought like those two things were like lights out. But I'm still here, so that's good. Yeah, it's weird. Super weird. But yeah, we'll figure it out. Yeah. Oh, what's this? You may or may not have asked. Did you notice this show up in a couple past vlogs? Because it made a cameo in, I think, a few. I had an idea of how I was going to finally release the video of this, but since I'm not going to be working on those projects that I was going to make vlogs out of, it's not really going to work out that way. I made this a few weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago. I made it a while ago, and I had some ideas that would lead up to this being showcased in a vlog, but I may as well tell you about it now. There we go.